Last time, the party had successfully sealed the rift in the tower and saved the nation of Aldwater from some Cthulhu-esque nightmare.
Woohoo!
They met up with Kyrad the Druid, who they had last met at Arrowbrook, and he reassured them that he would tend to the cleanup operations. Now the source has been destroyed and the containment ritual is in place, the situation won't get any worse. After some shenanigans with sausages, the party returned to Elderspell, where they sent Amy to go speak with her colleagues at the Church of St. Melinda to arrange a Speak with Dead spell to let them interrogate the skeletal corpse of Esmelia that they still have in Snork's handy haversack. The group also met a delightfully friendly bugbear named Bobby.
Who's Bobby? I don't remember this bit.
And then they rested at the apprentice's arms with drinks, food, and listening to a whole range of strange music whilst they had some bardic contests.
I do remember Bobby Bugbear.
Hello and welcome to Band of Bothers, an actual play Pathfinder podcast. I'm Stephen, host of the show and GM of this game, and I have my usual band of bothersome buggers with me. Josephine as Frida the half-elf druid, Pete as Snork the goblin sorcerer,
Fire!
Oh yeah, hello.
Tuomas as Barlam the human rogue wizard. Okay, that was Tuomas, and Edgar as Alpheus, the Dogman Druid.
Or rather, Smaz Noctura now, apparently. With me, I have Snuffles, a White Wolf. He is derpy as sin.
Yes. So unless any of you had anything you wanted to do, either before bed or during breakfast, I think we can fast forward to you all going to the Church of St. Melinda to interrogate the Bag of Bones and finally lay this quest to rest.
Wait, before bed and during breakfast. So I couldn't get my head around that. I had to think that one out loud.
Is there anything that you guys want to do either at the night or in the morning? Or can we just skip?
I'm alright for skipping. Yeah, we have to sleep.
Yes, you do know that you're going to get somewhere between 3 and 5 questions that you can ask the bones, and that's it.
We're going to interrogate a dead child's bones or halflings. What are we going to ask? I asked the group at large when we are having our evening tea.
I'm going to ask, is there really an afterlife?
Yes, it's a fantastical world of gods and magic, so there is an afterlife, you silly sod.
I want to set fire to him.
What if we ask her a riddle?
Oh, what if we found as a way to ask her a question to ask us a question? So we could ask her further questions pertaining to the question that we asked. It's like having multiple wishes.
So we're basically drawing a pentagram on the floor.
No, this is going to be a church-sanctioned spellcasting. Completely legit, no pentagrams or demonology, nothing like that.
You just figured out in my tipsy state that if the other people around town, such as myself, are spellcasters, if you're a goblin, aren't you a smellcaster? You have a strong odour and a loincloth.
No.
I'll have you know, our odour in our culture smells nice. We think the elves stink of their perfumey smells. Ugh.
I just glare at him.
Oh no, she's a half-elf, so she only half smells.
Smelly elves.
Yeah, you know, she only has one nostril.
She's got half a face.
So anyway, what are we going to ask that corpse?
How humiliated are you that we beat the shit out of you? That your martial arts did nothing?
Yeah, I was 2 levels lower than her and I beat her up. I think I'll ask Esme on a scale of 1 to 10. How does that make you feel?
I think she's been reincarnated.
Yeah, she could get reincarnated as a person who doesn't know Kung Fu. Oh, that would be not far from the truth anyway.
Way!
So are you guys sure you actually even want to interrogate the corpse? I mean, people were kind of making a big deal about this, and now no one seems to have any questions.
I wasn't interested.
I would like to ask where she got the shiny stone.
Okay, so Snork has said he wants to know about that crystal ball that was tuned into whatever chaotic forces of madness it was tuned into. That was a Snork thing. He was the one who had that crystal ball, and he was the one who dispelled disposed of it.
Okay, I want to ask how she met Mother Saggy so that such a thing could be avoided with someone else in the future.
And to stop her from giving free bacon to doggers.
Gollum says free bacon.
Shh.
Yes.
I'll beat off both of you, and you know I'm good at kung fu.
I have a feeling that you're trying to rub something in. I just don't know what it is.
Yeah, a roof tile.
So the first question about this effing crystal ball, the second about how she met Mother Sagith, and what about the third question? Should it be what or who is the entity behind the, weird thing?
Where's the crystal ball from and how did you get it? God, these people don't know how to talk today. Crikey, I've gone Australian today.
Snork, what's happened to your voice?
I don't know, I've been possessed. I'm from Essex as well. Oh no.
It's spreading.
Oh, shut up.
This is what happens when he spends too long in Elderspell. This is the true reason why he left.
What about two extra optional questions if you get like 4 or 5? Like, who is your daddy and what does he do?
Would you like me to remind you of a few bits and bobs related to the whole situation?
Bits and bobs, tits and knobs. Go on.
Okay, one thing that you don't really know much about is how Esme managed to come back to life and how Sagith was able to get young again. You suspect it's something to do with that artifact that Alpheus punted off the roof and then vanished into thin air.
Did she fully come back to life or did she time travel?
You don't know, that's the thing. You do actually know a bit about the cosmic entity. It is some ancient being that was created so long ago that you can't comprehend the time because your part of the universe didn't exist by the point that this thing was around. You do know that because the little Ratman Sage told you about him.
So the hourglass doesn't exist in our time period, on our plane, or our area.
You don't really know anything about it, but you also want to know about Sagith.
So we can only ask 3 questions.
You get between 3 and 5. I'm going to make you dice roll for it later.
Wait, is it how she came into power of the crystal ball, or what's behind the crystal ball?
Well, what do you want to know about the crystal ball?
Yeah, that's what I'm
the thing.
asking the group. Do we want to know how she came across it, or what's behind it, or what possessed her, to be honest?
Wow.
My answer got questioned. My question never got answered. What do we want to know specifically about the crystal ball before we start asking questions? Good answer. Let's ask it.
Snork had it identified by a diviner. The diviner took one look at it, realized it was super evil, and cast protection from magic before identifying it.
It's a crystal ball, man. I just got a crystal ball. I could just answer that for you.
Barlam actually doesn't know about all of that. I don't think Snork ever told you.
Well, what about what does the hourglass do?
But we still haven't answered the question of why we're asking her something about the crystal ball. We want to know what the entity is behind the crystal ball. Fantastic, we got there in the end.
That's kind of combining 2 of the questions into one, so that means you're asking about the cosmic entity and the thing behind the crystal ball.
Are they not the same thing?
As far as you know, it might well be the same thing. So if it is, you'll combine those 2 questions into one.
Okay, I was a bit confused. I didn't realise the entity and whatever behind the crystal ball were separate things. Sorry.
No, as far as you know, it's the same thing that they're worshipping.
Right, I see what you mean, okay.
Is the entity the thing behind the crystal ball?
Okay, that's a good question, actually. Let's ask that one.
Joe, does Frida have any questions?
I'd rather stay out of this.
Considering when you knew Esme, she was completely sane, isn't Frida in the least bit interested in what happened? How she went mad? Why she became a witch?
Yeah, but I just don't know about interrogating a corpse. I'm unsure.
It's a simple spell, it's neither good nor evil.
So our 3 questions are, what does the hourglass do, how did you meet Sagith, and what is the entity beyond the crystal ball?
Do we now want to, as our spare questions, why did Thingy come back alive, and why does Saga stay so young?
Thingy? You mean Esme?
Yeah, that one.
How did she survive your first encounter?
Magic.
For our first bonus question, how about how did Mother Saggy get us youthful as a papa?
She stays so young because she's a fucking Norn. As in, one of those ladies who watch over the whole timeline.
Well, she was ancient when you saw her, and then the last time you saw her, she had gotten young again. That's what he's asking.
She was born at the end of time, and now, as time goes backwards, she gets younger.
Oh, she's Benjamin Button.
I think you're giving the gods of my game world too much credit. They're really not that competent.
As time goes backwards, she'd get older. So at the beginning of the time, she dies. So she's going back in time.
Steve, this is the literal reason why you never bring time magic or chronomancy into games. You never do that.
That's why Rick and Morty don't do it.
In all media across the board, even in numerous game groups, everyone's just like, oh, time travel, wibbly wobbly woo. Chase the artifact which can do time travel.
Wibbly wobbly.
It totally depends on what logic you prescribe to with time travel, as there's just so many different types in fiction with different rules. For me, personally, there's only one that makes a lot of sense.
Dragon Ball Z.
No, because even Dragon Ball destroys its own logic in Dragon Ball Super. Actually, let's stop talking about this, otherwise we'll be here all day.
No, things just get confused.
I know. Anyway, you got your questions.
What is the capital of Andromeda?
I was just saying, you could think of it on the fly when you get there.
Okay, this leads on from the first question. If the entity says is not the same entity behind the crystal ball, what is the entity?
I guess my character probably ask if there was a bonus question at the end. How should I tell your parents what happened in regards to your death?
How would you like me to deliver your ashes?
Yeah, basically.
That would create the awkwardest of situations.
It's kind of like, I knew your parents, and I'm gonna have to send your remains home. And...
DHL, please.
I met this group of murder hobos and they killed your daughter.
Yeah, it's just like, what do I tell them?
You guys have not been murder hobos. You've been fucking running away from most of my encounters. Bacon sandwiches. Better avoid this merchant. Yes, I'm still going on about that. Yes, it was episode 4.
I want bacon sandwiches.
It was before you were here, Pete. They met a merchant at the side of the road who was just like chilling out, minding his own business. And Barlin was like, nope, I'm suspicious of random bacon men.
Yep, the thing is, the end result of that was that we didn't get a bacon sandwich and a cart chase, which we endured both of when Pete joined us. It all worked out in the end.
Yeah, and I almost killed Snork.
You mean you almost killed Snork?
Yep. So, it sounds like you've got your questions.
We got there eventually with the questions.
Anyway, let's head to bed and make sure our questions aren't closed ones, otherwise Esme could just answer with yes or no.
Next morning.
Yep, here we are. So, it is a cold winter morning, and it started snowing, though the snow is still light, so it's not causing an issue yet. To those you see out and about are wrapped up warm, and those who aren't are clearly not human and probably enjoy the cold weather. Berkeley has decided to go somewhere else this morning, as he has no interest in the interrogation, but he said he'll meet you all outside the church later. Though it's hard to read the face of a Doberman when he makes more subtle expressions, you do think that he has a bit of a sly smirk on his face when he leaves. No doubt the silly doggo is up to something. So you arrive outside the church, and whilst the other ones you have visited, the Druid Grove and the Church of Grazith specifically, don't care much for flashiness or ostentatious displays, this one is wildly different. It is big and made of a beautiful white stone that resembles marble but isn't. The outside is carved with ornate pillars and statues, as it looks closer to a cathedral than a church. The only reason you wouldn't consider it a cathedral would be the size. There are silk banners and decorations of purple and silver draped elegantly around the building, as people that you see coming and going are wearing clothes as beautiful and ornate as Amy's were when you first met her. You see an attractive looking man in his late 30s with a light tan, dark hair and some dark stubble standing by the doorway. He's wearing an immaculate looking purple tunic with a silver amulet of 3 butterflies hanging from his neck. You recognise this to be the garb that priests of Melinda wear. He smiles as you approach and gives you all a small yet respectful bow.
Hello.
Hello and welcome to the Church of St. Melinda. I am Rusen, and Amy said you will be coming here today. If you would please follow me, we have everything ready for you.
Okay.
You are led inside the church to see that the inside is even more beautiful than the outside, with carvings and decorations more intricate and precise. The main worship area is high-ceilinged, wide room, with pillars holding up some balconies that watch over the pews and altar. Purple and silver is the colour theme in here as well, and there are stained glass windows and tapestries that feature them heavily. Please, right this way. He'll lead you down a side corridor with a number of doors attached, and eventually you see Amy waiting outside of one of the rooms, leaning against a wall and reading a book. She looks up and sees you. Oh, hello everyone.
Oh my god.
Barlam, are you wearing your stylish new wizard gear?
Yeah.
Her face lights up seeing this. She's like, oh, Uncle Barlam, are you a wizard now?
You're a wizard, Harry.
No, I didn't take this into consideration.
She comes over with a...
Should be more distracted by Teapot's festive jumper.
You never said Teapot was wearing a festive jumper.
You said it's snowing.
Alright. Well, you should have specified. So she sees you and your gear and she kind of comes over, checking it out to check the quality of it. She's like, you look so dapper. This suits you. This really does. Congratulations.
I roll my eyes and say, thanks.
As eloquent as ever.
Oh, the family's going to be so happy when they find out.
I think I might cancel my wizardship.
But Barlam, with this clothing, maybe your mother will have some semblance of being proud and won't beat you up this time.
Grandma will be very proud of you.
Alpheus, how did you know that?
Because you discussed it in the inn the other night.
Oh, so a guy who remembers things when people drink, you're one of those people.
It's actually ironic because I don't remember my past. It makes me a sad doggo.
Right, we may have to do something about that next time.
Yeah.
If it helps any, I don't remember lots of things, like what my spells are, or even how old I am. It could be my birthday today for all we know. My true birthday anyway. Also, hi Amy!
Yeah, Amy, let's start the ritual. I'm feeling stifled in my robes.
Okay, everyone come on in. We are ready for you. And now, before we continue, can 2 separate people roll me a d20 each, please?
I will.
Okay, and who else would like to roll me a d20?
Hey, a 2.
You can't do worse than that. Oh, Joe got it.
Okay, so we just have a 2 and a 14. Great.
Yes, Barlam, you're one determined how many questions you get.
Bugger.
You see an altar set up with candles lit and various incense burning. An aged human male is wearing the fabulous purple and silver robes is waiting.
You said aged human male in a way that's reminiscent of finely aged meat.
The kind that both looks and tastes like leather.
Ah, good. You're all here. Please place the body on the altar and make sure you have your questions ready. You'll get 3 questions only, so if you wish to discuss what you want to ask, now is the time, as once the spell's cast you won't have time to faff about.
We're way ahead of you. Discussed it last night, we did. Took hours. It did.
Bloody felt like it.
I was about to say exactly the same thing.
Well, we're ready, Minister, and I drop the bag of bones on the altar, and they make a sound like a xylophone.
I like that Barlam now has the bag of bones instead of Snork because he's such a rogue.
The bones are in Snork's bag.
I stand aside.
The priest arranges the body a bit more respectfully than Barlam, who just dumped it out.
Yeah, sorry, I killed her, so I have no respect for her. I'm going to say that every opportunity. I killed a little girl.
Snuffles gets excited at the bones.
Well, you see, the size of the bones are the same size. Can you make the distinction?
Yes, the feet on a halfling would be much bigger than the feet of a human child.
What if it was a child with monstrously sized feet? Anyway, I don't know why I want to make myself out to be a child killer, but
I
anyway...
don't know either. I should really be running with this and give Barlam a reputation as a child murderer. I mean, I'm sure that will go down really well.
But Esme was really good at Kung Fu.
Not good enough, apparently.
Oh shit, you made it for me!
So, the priest begins a spell and makes the gestures and incantations necessary over the halfling corpse.
Kalima.
You watch as the bones start to move. They twist and turn, and the skull starts to move to look towards you all.
Cool story.
Who calls me?
Your mum.
I'm hiding behind Barlam.
I step forth. We have 3 questions.
What do you want?
Firstly, get yourself a throat lozenge. That's not a question. Secondly, stop making out it's hard to breathe. You don't even have lungs. That was also not a question.
The first question we have is, the hourglass you have, what does it do?
Adrian's chronometer can control time and space. You can manipulate your time or those around you. It cannot change the world at large, but can allow a person to move backwards or forwards or change their own timeline as they see fit.
Second question, dead person. How did you meet Sagith?
I met Sagith in the woods of Suramista in the Elven territories. I was on my journey, my adventure, where I ran into her. I don't know if she came looking for me or if it was an accident.
Right, third question. What is the entity behind the crystal ball?
We know him by many titles. The Ancient One. Wait, what was it that I keep referring to him as?
We know it's a he.
Oh shit. It's the Badger again. He's back. Do you want to buy some wares?
The Ancient One. He who is beyond time and space. He is the one we were trying to summon.
If he's beyond time and space, he doesn't exist.
It's an entity beyond time and space. That's really what they know about.
It can't exist, because if you bring it into a time, then it has to exist in that time, but he's always beyond it. Anyway, sorry.
Esme's body slumps back into a previous position, and you see its mouth move once more.
Fuck you guys!
Thank you for freeing me. I'm sorry for everything.
You were shit at Kung Fu.
And with that, the jaw drops slack and she stops moving.
How bad did it feel when I beat you up? No!
We shall never know. Now she's done. Snuffles, you can take one of her bones.
No.
Yes, Snuffles. Take a thigh.
Oh, I hope you were able to get everything that you needed from her.
Hit and miss. 2 out of 3. Well, 1 out of 3 maybe.
Better than none out of 3.
Actually, did we get any useful information?
We got the name of the hourglass, but other than that, not a whole lot.
We got everything that we already knew.
Do you know what that means?
What?
This is a dud. We're going to be pre-questing. You know, that means we can do quests that the DM has to improvise. We don't have to do this quest anymore because it's done. We are done.
Doesn't mean that no one else is trying to summon this bitch.
Yeah, I just asked the priest, is there somewhere I can take these to be cremated so I can send them back to her family?
Yes, we can help you with that.
Can I roll thievery and steal a bone?
That's against me, because I'm looking after them now.
It's practically against everyone in the room.
I got a 9, didn't work.
And thus, no bones were thrown for Snork that day.
Yeah, everyone notices.
I pick one up and oh,
Look at the bone.
Put it down!
Okay, put it back.
Amy, Rusen, and the elderly priest don't say anything.
No.
Yes, we can help you get this cremated and you can then dispose of it as you see fit.
Thank you. I would like to get it done right and send it to her family.
I asked the priest to package up the bones and send them to X.
Where is X?
Beyond time and space.
Her family back in, my hometown.
Pathmont?
That would be Proudmead in Finnegan.
Yes.
Okay, Proudmead. You can deal with that. We can grab morning beer and maybe some bacon.
Ooh.
So, now I have to go because Alphys is already excited. Bye.
Thank you for your time, Amy. Bacon awaits.
Bacon and beer.
And ketchup.
Okay, I'll see you around.
Bye.
So, you leave the temple and find that a crowd has gathered as Berkeley is standing there in front of them. Oh, there they are! The heroes who closed the rift!
Yay! Party!
You see, there's a lot of fascination from the crowd, and 2 people step forward. One is an attractive elven woman with shoulder-length brown hair, and she's wearing a nice-looking professional clothes and has a small notebook and pen. With her is a small gnomish man with scruffy hair, scruffy facial hair, and scruffy clothes, with a weird contraption that none of you have ever seen before. Well, actually, Snork, roll me a d20, let's see if you've seen this thing.
Oh, it's a camera.
Or a chimera.
Nope.
Nope, Snork, you don't know what this is.
I probably do, but I just don't care.
Ace reporter Gabbi Gates here for the Aldwater Gazette. Can we ask you some questions regarding the recent incidents of Mutton Lake for our readers?
I cast Spark to try and impress her. She was a beautiful elven lady. I rolled a 5.
Didn't you say a moment ago that elves stink?
Yeah, but we're doing this. I've got to bring the species back from somewhere.
She smiles, and right at the time time as you do that, the device that the gnome is meshing with lets out a loud snap and a bright flash of light, as from the back there is a small burst of black liquid. Ah! The gnome pulls himself away as he's covered in ink. He has goggles on and gives Gabbi the thumbs up, and then gets back to messing with the device.
Please don't do that again before warning us, I say as I sheath my sword.
She seems harmless enough. Should we just answer some questions and get out of here? Snuffles looks like she wants to pee.
Okay, according to what we just did, you get 3 questions.
I'm glad I'm inside at this point.
Okay, well, wonderful.
You can ask me as many questions as you want, babe.
Oh, that's so kind of you, thank you.
No.
We're busy saving the world.
This is saving the world, so you only get 3 questions.
Actually, you're now kind of in downtime. You're not busy at all.
As many as you want privately.
Snork, I'm ready to punch you to the next town over.
I use touch of fatigue. 19!
Do I see him do that? Do I get a perception check?
Oh, how's that perception? I'm not in front of you, you're in front of the camera.
Since you're not actually expecting him to suddenly cast a spell at you, it does technically count as a surprise round.
Yes!
Roll a fortitude save.
Your face, you're not even looking at me, I'm coming from behind. I put my hand on and go,
There, I got this.
Okay, we'll play by the rules of imagination. I'll say I'm flying in the air.
Okay, enough. We're dragging on, arguing amongst ourselves. This is just meant to be a goofy little interview with a bloody reporter, because apparently a newspaper exists in this world. So, Snork, are you going to actually try and cast a spell on Barlam?
yes.
Okay, Barlam, roll a perception check.
Oh, it's not a fortitude.
Okay, Snork, are you being discreet?
I'm putting my hand on him and going,
There.
Touch of Fatigue has verbal and somatic components. Are you being discreet trying to cast your verbal and somatic components of this spell?
how does that work?
It means you have to mutter some kind of phrase and make some kind of hand gesture. Since this is a low-level spell, it's probably more like a Naruto hand gesture where you put like 2 or 3 hand symbols together and then...
Yeah, then
you know.
yes, I'm doing that word.
Okay, because it's got both verbal and somatic components, roll a stealth check rather than a sleight of hand check.
Mine's 10 plus 1, 11.
Okay, Barlam, you see this happen. So if you're going to try and intercept this, I need you to both roll a dexterity check, and I know your initiative modifier, so I'll take that into consideration.
Oh, fuck's
Barlam, he does a couple of Narutard hand gestures and starts saying Kagebushi no Jutsu no wait, and he's about to touch you. What do you do?
Just slap his hands in his mouth. Shut up.
But if you slap my hands, you've made contact with me.
Technically, no. You're making a touch attack against him.
You've been bitch slaps.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I thought you meant after.
I could have slapped you with my sword, but I'd like to think I'm a generous man.
You've killed the comedy bonuses.
Snork, are you going to drop this, or are you going to continue to try this?
I'm going to drop it.
You're going to drop it. Okay, that just happened. Gabbi Gates is writing this all down, by the way.
I look back at her, straighten down my vest and ask, would you ask those 3 questions, please?
Could I do this whilst he's halfway through the questions, then do it again whilst he's not listening?
Could you not?
Damn it! I wanted to put him to sleep and then just like take over the interview.
Touch of fatigue doesn't put him to sleep, it just makes him physically tired.
Oh. Good job it wasn't touch of combustion.
Barlam steps to one side, grabs Alpheus and puts in between the two of you.
I'm moved by your gesture, literally.
Damn it.
Okay, so many people as of late have been worried by the weird creatures that have been seen by the lake that resemble grotesque mockeries of normal animals. What can you tell us about these creatures?
The sheep are called blee things.
We slew them.
They produce tentacles and flew around sometimes. They're really nasty.
Some of the people who haven't seen them are just like, ugh, there is a crowd.
Alfie, seizing this opportunity of a crowd reaction, says, their tentacles make horrible sounds, like as they wrap around you, and they'll eat your faces whilst you sleep or something.
They're really nice people.
Okay, this technically counts as part of the same question because I just want to know,
No commas.
is this all you know about them? Do you not know where they came from or how they came to be?
Well, let me spin you a tale of time and terror.
I put my hand across Snork's mouth.
Well, let me spin you a tale of time and terror.
No. I put my other hand across Alpheus' mouth.
The people would like to know, and if your colleagues are wanting to tell us, then please just let them speak.
No. They're so shook by the incidents they can form a straight sentence.
Alpheus licks Barlam's hand.
We know things that normal women and children should not know.
Like your mama's fat ass.
We'd rather not talk about these things publicly to avoid panic, but we have dealt with the issue.
Whoa. You've said, to avoid panic, we don't want to talk about it, thus planting a seed of panic in their brain.
Okay,
We have one more question.
that was just asking you to elaborate on a previous question because you didn't fully answer it.
Technically, she's already asked one question by asking if she can have the question.
One more question. Go.
Well, if we're really doing this, I mean, first of all, I'd like you to know that you are terrible interviewees, but so that we can properly credit you, can you tell us, who are you people?
I'm the Batman.
I am Barlam. These are Alpheus, Frida,
I'm not there.
and Snork.
Alpheus will wrench your hand off his mouth at that point and say, "My name isn't just Alpheus, it's Smaz Noctora. I'm royalty or something."
And that's why we allow you to talk.
Actually, what he's just done is a very good idea, because if anyone hears about this and knows that name, they might come looking for him. It's a good way of putting his name out.
Yeah, but they may find you, and they may kill you.
Of course, if he was running away from someone, then it was very dumb. He doesn't know this, though, so who knows? Okay, so, Smaz Noctura, aka Alpheus, Barlam, and Snork.
Yay!
And Frida, who isn't here at the moment.
And Teapot.
And Snuffles.
And whatever the hell my chicken was called, Beaker.
I think in my humongous brain, I think I'm surrounded at all sides by mediocrity, stupidity, and mayhem.
Okay, and of course, Professor Berkeley has been with you. Have your efforts to deal with this problem have been in conjunction with the Academy? What is your relationship with the local Academy and Mr. Berkeley?
Mr. Berkeley?
Ooh, he has a Doberman head and he was with us.
For one adventure.
I bite his hand to try and speak.
I was part of the academy.
I've learned wizardry after I took the title from the Academy, or Berkeley specifically.
Alright,
Academy life was fun.
so she's writing these things down. But yeah, Berkeley will explain that whilst you're not directly a part of the Academy, you did come to them looking for help, which he offered and provided assistance. But you guys really were the ones who led the charge. You'd done all the research, you'd done all the information gathering, you were the ones who located the cause of this problem, and you're the ones who have assigned a cleanup crew to take care of it. So he's kind of bigging you guys up quite a lot.
We did something.
Berkeley's a bro, he's a good guy. He was just there to provide a bit of extra muscle.
Bruh.
Okay, and Professor Berkeley mentioned about the cleanup crew. What can you tell us about that?
Too many questions. My client does not want to speak to you anymore.
She just kind of pouts a bit, looking at Snork and is like, "Oh, that's a shame. I was hoping that you'd get a chance to speak a bit more now that your companion was no longer silencing you."
Well, if you'd care to meet me later, I'll speak as much as you like.
And I raise an eyebrow at her.
I just walk away.
She's like, "Well, if you're offering to give a private interview, I would be happy to do so."
Can we please do this?
Yes, I would love to have a private interview.
So she goes forward and hands you a business card. You can meet me there anytime you want.
Thank you.
I shout over my shoulder as I walk away. Snork said last night that all elves stink.
He's jealous.
Yeah, I mean, Snork said they stink of flowers. It's a good thing.
Alpheus, liars do not get bacon.
But he's trying so hard.
No, he doesn't try hard enough.
Alpheus smiles at the reporter, then at the crowd to try and take the attention away from Barlam, Snork, and Gabbi. Allow me to relieve you of any unnecessary awkwardness. And Alpheus starts dancing with a 10.
Is Snuffles gonna dance with you?
Yes, they're both going to do a samba.
Roll a performance check for Snuffles as well. I hope he upstages you, because your roll wasn't very good.
It's like walking forwards on the moonwalk.
And he gets a 19.
For Christ's sake.
You perform just a routine dance with Snuffles. Snuffles' performance, though, is quite enjoyable. I mean, he's definitely the more competent dancer out of the two of you. The crowd seem quite enamoured with this, and the device makes another loud cracking noise with a flash.
Yes, love me.
Yes, some of the kids there are like, "Yay!"
At the corner of Alpheus' eyes, he sees Barlam at the door of the inn there, giving him the look.
The look of love?
The look of no bacon.
Alpheus's face suddenly turns all frowny at this, realising that he's probably not going to get any bacon, and Snuffles is dancing better than him, so he kind of dances backwards and away.
He just kind of dances off.
Snork fires magic missiles to make it look like fireworks.
Magic missile always hits a target, so imagine shooting it into the crowd.
If you had the spell pyrotechnics, now that's basically fireworks.
Damn.
As everyone walks over to the inn, and as Alpheus dances, I give them all very disapproving looks and say to Snork, "You owe me 200 gold."
Why do I owe you 200?
That's what by the thing.
The thing.
The wand.
So I thought it was like part of your starter that you can buy things.
Oh, no, you do have a wand of magic missiles, that's correct. There was a starting item that he got because he started at a slightly higher level because he came in at like level 3, so he had a bit more money to play with, so he started with a wand of magic missiles. And I believe last session he was wanting to buy another wand, but found that they were only level 1 wands and they sucked ass, so he chose not to buy any.
I almost got through.
Damn you.
My character has 9 bluff.
We're bluffing in real life right now.
I have even more than that. I almost bluffed my way to 200 extra gold.
Can I go shopping?
Yeah, what would you like to find?
I would like a lovely smoking jacket
A smoking jacket?
to go with my red high heels and a good looking pipe.
Alpheus is going to try and stalk Snork to see where he's going.
But can I go buy my smoking jacket now and a pipe?
Yeah, sure.
How much do you want?
I don't know, it can't cost you that much. A silver?
I'll give you 1 gold.
Okay, if you're paying a gold for it, then the pipe and the jacket are going to be a good high quality.
Yeah, this is what I'm going for. You'll find out why in a minute.
He's getting himself ready for his interview. He's basically going to go in there like wearing a dressing gown with a chest open to show off his pecs and chest hair, and he's just smoking a pipe.
And a monocle.
Do you know what, Snork? Because you fucked up the interview just now, I'm going to cockblock you for the whole week.
We don't have sex in Goblin Land.
I'm going to take Snork's speaker away, said they say. So I was just trying to give us a nice public front, but then you guys started doing shenanigans, especially Snork.
We'll see what happens, but yeah, you're entitled to go out your way to cockblock him.
You don't know why I'm buying these things.
You actually don't even see him buying them, because you're at the tavern, you're scolding Alpheus, and then Snork kind of walks off in another direction.
I just appear with a bag.
So, Snork, you've gone and bought your monocle, smoking jacket, and a pipe. What do you want to do now? Where do you want to go?
I go for this interview.
Okay.
Obviously, I put the things on first, and my red high heels. I've got to look the part.
Barlam, he's not heading back in your direction, I'm
Now,
afraid.
can I choose the setting of the interview? Because I need to be sitting on a really big, high-backed throne chair, holding a whiskey glass with a little round table in front of me next to a fire, and the lights are dim.
I'll tell you what you can do. The card she gave you was to basically the printing office that she works at. So you can go there and arrange the interview and tell her where and when to meet you.
Cool.
So you can pick a really high-end, posh people in tavern, coffee shop, whatever it is you want.
Fab. Okay. I do some research of the local area.
You're from the local area, you know your way around.
I know my way around perfectly. I knew that already. I find the most high-end establishment I can. I give her the address,
Okay.
and I go wait there.
Yeah, the hounds are after you. I ask Alpheus, can you track down Snork?
Yes, a good idea.
Damn it.
We might want to make sure his cock is sufficiently blocked.
The place you've arranged the interview for is a high-end kind of bar called the Archmage's Tipple.
Tipple.
Tipple? Really?
Yes, they're having a little tipple.
It's titillating.
You mean tippleating?
Tippleating. Oh.
And Alpheus. Oh, you've already rolled oh my god, you've rolled a really good perception check.
Yup, a 21.
And I assume Snuffles is helping you?
I'll actually help Alpheus because he's such a good boy.
Snuffs gets 17.
The stench of Snork's loincloth is strong.
A stench of a goblin always goes far.
Oh my god. Yeah, you get a +2 from Barlam and you get a +2 from Snuffles. You got a 25 total. So you are able to pretty quickly find your way to this fancy clothes store, like this, I don't know, let's call it the Dapper Mage. And it's a fancy tailor.
Suits you, sir.
Yeah, you're able to ask the tailor inside and he's like, yes, he tells you...
Before Alpheus leaves that place, he asks for a kind of waiter's outfit.
Why?
Reasons?
Why?
A waiter's outfit.
How much is it?
Okay, let's say 5 silver.
I like how you think, Alpheus. I'll also take the waiter's outfit.
Okay.
Oh god, what's happening?
Okay, so you two get yourself waiters' outfits, 5 silver apiece. You find out that Snork has been in there to buy a really fancy smoking jacket, and then he went across the street to pick up a fancy smoking pipe. And though they don't tell you where he went, they do tell you what he bought, so you now have a general idea on what he was up to. And with that perception check, you can continue to track him.
Do we see, like, heel marks on the ground?
No, you won't be able to. It's not like dirt floor. This is like cobblestone kind of thing.
It's fine. We'll sniff him out.
Meanwhile, Frida, what are you doing? You get the ashes. They give you a small, kind of not a fancy urn, but something that's the right size, something that's well made.
Yeah, I go to send it off with a message to parents, basically just saying, "Dear so-and-so, this is Frida, who is a childhood friend of your daughter's. During my travels, I unfortunately found out that your daughter had since passed. Here are her remains and my deepest sympathy."
Okay, you are quite far away from Finnegan. It's gonna be quite a long journey.
Well, I'm sending it off, so...
Yeah, but what I'm saying is to send a courier that far, it's pretty much the distance from, say, the east border of Spain to the west side of Germany. It's pretty much the entire width of France is how far they have to travel.
I'm gonna have to look for someone by the port who's going that way.
Well, you'll be able to pay someone. Your couriers will travel that far.
How much?
That's a good question. Tuomas, how much would you normally charge for this sort of thing?
I think it would be 10 gold because that's like a royal service kind of thing. Like 10 gold is a lot of money, but not to a merchant.
I was going to charge more, but that's fair. Alright, 10 gold.
Okay, 10 gold's fine.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So, Joe, can you mark 10 gold off your character sheet? Also, since you're sending him to Finnegan, you could pay like a few extra copper to get a letter sent to your master if you want.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Because you've been talking about getting that done. And getting a sending spell sent to him is going to cost a lot of money, so this will be cheaper.
I also pack another letter written in Druidic, detailing,
everything.
Yeah.
Since it's in the same settlement, just 2 copper and they'll do that for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, you're able to get that sent off. And Joe, roll me a wisdom check, please.
Wisdom, there we go.
It occurs to you that you guys didn't kill Esme's snake, her viper. You don't know what happened to it, but it must be somewhere in town. And a witch's familiar is probably not something you want to leave just roaming around on its own.
I start looking around for a druid district to ask for advice.
I'm afraid there isn't a druid district in this town. Really, the closest druids would be back in Bathmont. You basically are the highest level druid in the area right now.
We are the druids of this district.
But I'll let you think about what you want to do about that as we go back to shenanigans.
Yeah, I'll just say I go back to Barlam and...
Well, you actually don't know where they are. If you go back to the tavern to meet up with them, they're not there. Someone tells you that they saw Barlam, Alpheus, and Snuffles going off into town towards the shopping district, but that's about all you get. They're probably just going shopping, so there's absolutely no reason for you to be suspicious.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, I'll probably just go to town and get a scarf then. I'll probably stumble on them then.
Okay, Amy will probably hang out with you then, because she was helping you get the bones sorted and everything. She would have showed you where to go to get the courier, and if you're going to go shopping for clothes, she's all about that, so...
But I also mentioned, whilst looking for a scarf, I do wonder though, what happened to the snake?
That's a good question. We should probably look into that sometime. We don't know anything about her relationship with the snake, so we don't know if it's dangerous or not, so it's worth checking out. And with that, Snork, you are in the Archmage's Tipple. You are all dressed up. You have got yourself a private booth.
Fantastic.
You've got yourself a whiskey you wanted?
Yeah, something in a big glass. That'll fit in my small hand. Everything looks big in my hands.
Did you want anything for your pipe as well?
Can we smoke indoors?
Yes.
Fantastic.
This isn't the modern day where there's a smoking ban.
Well, it could be very posh area, you never know.
Yeah, most places like this, they probably would be smoking.
That's alright then.
Yeah, in the oldie days, such places were nothing but a smoke pit.
Yeah.
They added it to the ambience.
And I order myself a fine meal.
Yeah, fair enough. It's gonna be right around the time that ace reporter Gabbi Gates will be arriving at the tavern right at the same time that the others show up. She hasn't seen you guys, but you see her going in there. She's still dressed in the same professional clothes she was. She's got her photographer with her and her notebook.
Here's the plan, Barlam. Snuffles is going to look after our standard clothes outside whilst we pretend to be waiters and mess this up for Snork.
Yes, I think the premise that we're here for, and that we debrief the others waiter with, is that we're arranging a stag party for Snork.
That sounds brilliant.
And for the stag party, we are to cater to him and his date's needs.
Wait, but okay, she can be his fiancée or something.
And I shall be doing mind tricks and things while you are performing as the...
Bumbling Alpheus.
Yes, but we need to disguise your face.
Ah yes, my face. I've been thinking about this.
I use disguise self on myself and use my disguise kits on Alpheus to turn him another colour and give him a different hairstyle.
What spell are you casting? Disguise self?
Like, he's a doge, but a different doge, because there's been different doges in this town already.
They really haven't. Berkeley's the only other animus. But there are, however, other somewhat animal-esque races. Thinking about it, given your skill, you could probably make him look like either a bugbear or even possibly a different breed of dog. I mean, Shibas look a bit like corgis. You could probably try pass him off as a corgi.
Okay, I'll just make him look a bit like a gnoll.
Okay, are you going to try and make him look like a gnoll? Roll me a disguise check. Ooh, we don't get to do disguise checks often in games with magic.
22.
Yeah.
He looks like a punk rock version of himself.
Awesome.
You do look a bit gnollish.
Awesome. I look a bit like a hyena.
You look a bit more domesticated than a hyena normally would be, but it is actually a surprisingly good disguise.
And then I changed myself to look like a slightly chubbier younger blonde man.
He's become Bar Lad.
Bar Lad. They call him Bar Lad.
You know, the funny thing about all of this is that Alpheus can turn himself into an animal, so he could have just, instead of needing a disguise at all, just hassle them as an animal.
Nah, this is more fun.
I did a D&D campaign the other week, and they had to get across a bridge, okay? And the bridge was broken in different parts, so there was a small bit of bridge, and further on there's a bigger bit of bridge, and even bigger, and then smaller. It must be Tetris. They spent about a good half an hour to an hour figuring out how to cross this bridge, and the last person just turned around and went, I've got teleport. And everyone just looked at them.
It isn't about the end result, it's about the journey.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically, we are now disguised and I knock on the service door.
Okay, yeah, the door opens.
Door opens.
Barlam, roll me just a flat d20.
Whoop, 16.
By some miracle of chance, the waiter's uniform that you're wearing is near enough identical to the waiter's uniform they're wearing. There are only a few small differences that you can spot because you're looking for it, but to the untrained eye, you look like you're meant to be with this staff.
Cool. So, who's at the door?
It will be a waiter, a half-elf male, a youngish lad, looks kind of like an apprentice who is just trying to pay his way through college.
Suddenly, before he says anything, there's 4 gold pieces in my palm, which I'm offering to him, and I say, do you want a free night?
Roll me a persuasion diplomacy check.
That's 13 plus 4 gold. That's like a month's wages.
See.
Yeah, I just rolled a check to see how we'd react to that, and he's just like, sure, what do you need?
I just need your name tag.
That might not help you. I mean, the other staff will know that you're not me.
Okay, we'll just say you got sick and we're taking up your shift. Here's 4 gold.
There's more than one reads name tag Harold in the world. Maybe not.
Okay, just don't do anything that will get me fired, whoever you are.
This 4 gold will help you find a job if anything too drastic happens. Don't worry.
He's taking the gold and he's going. He rolled really badly to resist, so he desperately needs the money. He's not going to ask any questions.
We go in and I say to Alpheus, do not ask anyone anything. Just act as if you know what we're doing.
Yes, I'm changing my voice, Barlel. I'm such disguise, much in character. Wow.
Okay, so you're just gonna do waiting for a bit.
So basically, we'll do normal waiter stuff for half an hour or something, then gravitate towards looking for the goblin. I use a bit of gold to ask questions to find out where he is.
How did you split the name tag between 2 people?
Because we don't use the name tag.
Oh, right.
Okay, so you guys will do your waiting, and Snork, you're in your private booth area. And ace reporter Gabbi Gates shows up along with her little gnome pal, and she's just like, Mr. Snork.
Good evening. How are you? Please, take a seat.
Okay. I hope you don't mind that my assistant Ty is here. We figure we might be able to get a nice picture for the papers.
I take a sip of my drink and I go,
Sure, anything. Have a seat, please. Please join me. Yes.
She sits down. She's about to ask you what's up with your voice, but decides against it.
you're probably thinking, why am I different?
Well, the thought did cross my mind.
I am really, truly a great, powerful wizard. Little do they know. At this point, she realised she's interviewing the wrong goblin.
She's like, weren't you the one who was expelled for burning down 3 taverns?
Or am I the Archmage, the head of all things? Who knows in this day and age?
Okay, anyway, would you be willing to answer some questions about the events revolving around the lake?
I am more than willing, my lady. It all happened once and I was dancing with some corpses. Dancing on the Day of the Dead, as I remember. Lovely dancing.
The day of Saint Caesarea.
Yes, exactly.
She writes that down.
I came across, I don't know what to call them then. Holly, fuck off, get out my face. Sorry. Talk just...
Band of fuck-offs.
These rambling band of people came across my path.
Band of bothers, you might say.
Ah, yes, they bothered me quite a bit. I thus wanted to join them. I hailed them down and said, hey, may I join you? The tall one decided against it and shot me in the chest. Where do I go from there?
Harlem then walks in. Service.
The booth has got a door?
I guess it does now.
Who are you? I did not order service.
Actually, you ordered a meal.
I already had that 3 hours ago. I had afternoon lunch and this is now the evening.
I'd say it's mid-afternoon.
Oh, right, okay.
Theatre of the mind.
So you ordered those glazed bananas, eh?
Glazed bananas? What they glazed in? I ordered the chicken.
Beaker squawks in protest.
I do beg your pardon. Is there anything else besides the chicken?
I'd another refill of my whiskey, please.
I look over my shoulder to the Alphys and ask him, would you help me with this misunderstanding?
Absolutely.
I let him bumble in and accidentally trip him and let him fall.
Whoops.
Do you have to roll a performance check for this?
Gabby's just like, oh my goodness, I didn't know they hired gnolls here.
Oh yeah? It's on hiring practice.
Maybe they're good on equality at this place. I've heard this place is a fine establishment. There's a +2 to your bluff.
Yes. She's like, wow, well, it's really great to see.
I'm really trying to keep myself looking good for this interview.
She's going to try and help Alpheus up because he fell onto the table or something.
Oh, we will offer the glazed bananas on the house. And I'll drop the bananas in Snork's lap and then on Gabby's lap. I'm terribly sorry. Will I get this fixed right away?
Oh man. Then do you exit the room?
I exit room bumbling.
Allow me to clean that up for you.
And Alphys starts licking her lap.
Bravo.
She's like, she's gonna push your way. Look, I know you're new to the area, but please, let me explain to you that that's not something that we do in the city.
Would you like to call security, madam?
No. She completely bought into the bluff that he's a gnoll. She's completely sympathetic that he's trying to adapt to a new environment and a new customs. She's like, no, you don't need to call.
Security!
As Snork shouts for security, I bumble back in his room and push Alphys back into Gabby's lap. Sorry, did you order chicken or pork, Mr. Goblin?
My apologies, I found myself in your lap again. Oh yeah.
Did you lick at the woman's private skin? That's no good.
Yes, no, you don't lick other people. Just here, she picks up the bananas. Just take this away and bring a damp cloth and we'll take care of it.
Allow me to fetch you a damp cloth and a bucket and a mop. I'll mop you clean.
So there is a click and a flash as the gnome that's in the booth as well has just taken a picture of Alpheus toppled on top of Gabby and
we can bring the establishment down from the inside.
And Snork being hassled by this Barlam.
So is this interview going to change out to be a restaurant review and get this place shut down?
We don't know yet. But this guy's job is to take pictures of interesting things, and this is an interesting thing. So.
Her career's going to be fucking ruined.
Excuse my gnoll friend, ma'am. I hope your date is going well.
My date?
Oh, this isn't a date. This is just an interview, sir.
Well, we're told this was going to be a stag party, and I'm not the stripper.
No, this is the world-famous interview from Elderspell.
Then are you the stripper, my dear goblin?
I don't understand. Oh, you noticed my attire. My high heels. They're great for acrobatics. You'll be surprised. Magical I am. Magical.
Right, you tell yourself that.
How rude.
This is a stag, sir. Therefore, I'll fetch the big cake for you.
You fetch the big cake, a wink. And then I take my leave. As I close the door, I surreptitiously cast prestidigitation on Snork to make him smell like a rotten fish.
Oh, I already stink. What's the problem?
And now you smell like fish. Or goblin guff. So Alpheus leaves before the smell destroys his nose.
Can I roll for this madness?
I did not see this session going like this at all. This is great.
Can I roll for suspicion?
There are 2 checks you can make here.
Okay.
1, you can make a perception check to see against his stealth. 2, you can make a sense motive check to try and figure out if they're intentionally trying to screw this up for you, or if they're just fucking useless.
I'll do against the stealth. What am I rolling against stealth? Just a flat 20?
Perception.
Oh, my perception. Where's perception? I can never find it.
It's a +3.
12, 3. Yeah, bollocks.
Yep, so you don't see... Do you want to make a sense motive check as well?
Where's sense motive?
It's also +3.
Damn it.
Yes, no. Neither of you are able to see. Okay, so she's just like trying to be polite, but obviously the smell is pretty awful. She just gets a handkerchief, just kind of puts it up to her nose and just kind of trying to discreetly cover her nose whilst at the same time look like she's blowing a nose kind of thing.
Can I smell this?
Yes, totally.
Oh, right, okay. I take a huge smell. I went, oh, those 2 really do smell, don't they? And I roll a bluff check. Damn it.
She buys it.
Oh, let me fix that right up and I do this.
She's just like, it's probably the Knoll. I've never actually heard of any of them making their way into civilization.
Have you heard of goblins making their way into civilization?
She's like, I think it's great that there is one, and he's like, people have hired him, and he's trying to make his way. So just be polite and be patient. I mean, this can't be easy for him.
Under a disguise, do their abilities change? If you were to, I don't know, intimidate someone, would it still be against their normal things, even if they're playing in character?
Yes. What do you do against intimidate? Make a will save?
Yeah.
As I never left the vicinity of the door because I'm listening in to what you're talking about, I rush back in as they're talking about racist things towards gnomes. Oh no, don't worry about him, he's starting.
We didn't say anything racial about it.
Well, like I said, she's asked Snork to be a bit patient with him.
Were you just outside the door?
Meanwhile, Alpheus is trying to sort out the cake whilst Barlam was listening to Snork through the door.
Oh no, it's not gonna be Alpheus jumping out the cake, in a mankini.
Where is this cake? Wait, before the cake, hold on. Where's my food? I stand up and face him face to face. I would like to speak to the manager.
I am the manager.
And then Alpheus knocks on the door.
I've got your cake.
I cast grease by the door.
Okay, the area just outside of your private booth is now extremely slippery.
And then Alpheus walks in with a cake as big as his.
Oh no!
Alpheus, do you want to come on over with the cake?
I said, we shall resume this interview another day. I shall be back at your printing press. Please, hide under the table.
Well, first of all, Alpheus, make me a reflex save, please.
1.
Can I appraise his roll? I appraise it by 15. You did well.
Appraise is evaluating the value of something.
I was evaluating his value of roll, yeah.
Alpheus, can you describe for me the cake that you're bringing? Because you're going to lose your footing and fall over carrying this thing right in the doorway.
This is an immense multi-tiered cake.
How the hell did you get a multi-tiered cake?
Stop in the bakery district.
It would have been more easier to grab loads of mashed potato from the kitchen, throw whatever food you can.
It's made from various cakes already in the back and various puddings, all stacked on top of each other. It's a multi-tiered cake made of many cakes.
It's a Franken cake.
Franken Cake's Cakester, if you will. Made of fruitcake, melty chocolate cakes, lemon drizzle, red velvet, that caterpillar cake that every supermarket sells, topped with pies and meringue.
He basically shoved a spear in the middle to keep it all in one place.
So when you slip, will Alpheus not hurt himself? Possibly breaking a bone. Oh, what a shame. No.
He won't hurt himself falling prone, but this cake, yeah, it's gonna all over him. So let's set this scene. Alpheus comes in with what is essentially a platter piled as high as he can of assorted cakes. Cakes that don't belong together, that's just been piled up as high as he can, and then he finds that the floor outside the doorway is really slippery. He starts slipping and sliding, he can't maintain his footing, and he's gonna slip, fall, and cake is gonna go everywhere. Everyone in the room, roll a reflex save.
Even if they're under a table?
Gabbi is under the table because you told her to go under the table. She's safe. There is a flash as the cameraman is taking a picture of this.
Yes.
Your reflex is 2. Now, Barlam, you have the skill, so you take half damage. What happens is Alpheus, who looks vaguely like a knoll, slips and slides and tumbles, dropping the pallet of cakes and falling right on top of them. It splats as cake and cream and chocolate and custard and God only knows what else goes everywhere. Snork gets covered. Barlam gets a bit on him, but due to his roguelike reflexes, he's able to at least avoid the worst of it. Gabbi was told to hide under the table, so she avoided the entire thing. And the cameraman gets the photo of this happening. It's an amazing shot, but he and his camera also get completely covered.
It's going to smash against the table like the Titanic smashed against the iceberg.
The entire room is now covered in cake remnants, and Alpheus, you are completely coated in it. You look more like a cake monster than you do a person at this point.
And then, from the middle of the cake, tumbles Snuffles in a mankini.
I turn to Gabbi and say, you could say I almost saved you from a cake-astrophic interview.
That was so bad.
You almost got creamed.
Cake-pocalypse. Oh, I should have said it was the cake-pocalypse. Oh.
Barlam has fled the scene. Alpheus and Snuffles are completely covered in cake. Snuffles is kind of rolling around in the cake and gnawing at this mankini that he's been forced to wear. Snork, there is only one person in this town who has a white wolf.
It's not white anymore, it's covered in cake.
Yeah, it's pink.
I wouldn't recognise this wolf because it is covered in cake.
It's a disguise.
Yeah. Do I have to roll a bluff? Can it roll a bluff so I don't...
That depends how perceptive you are.
Okay, I'll roll for perception if I perceive it.
Okay, yeah, you're able to recognise Snuffles.
So I turn to Gabbi and I say, I do apologise. It seems that rambling band, almost of a band of bothers, have seemed to have crashed your interview.
Yeah, but Snuffles being there doesn't mean Alpheus and Barlam are there.
When there's a Snuffles, there's always an Alpheus. They always travel in pairs. Beware.
Oh, how did that dog get into that cake? I have no idea.
Can I roll a perception check to see if that's Alpheus?
Yes.
Bollocks!
Ed, roll me a bluff check. Roll anything higher than a 1.
The biggest bluff coming right up.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, he's got a crit! Alpheus, or the Knoll, seemed genuinely confused how a wolf got into the cakes.
Wait. How did the wolf get into the cakes if it's piled up like a... He'd have to build it around the dog, did he?
Yes, that's exactly what he did. But you are completely convinced that this Knoll has no idea where this wolf came from. He doesn't understand what the hell's going on. This Knoll is completely innocent in this. He's just incompetent.
My apologies, I'll get this dog out of your sight, and I'll leave your sight too. Goodbye.
Well, that was interesting.
Would you say we even had an interview, my lady?
Yes. Should we reschedule this for at the office?
Yes, I think we shall. I do apologise. This was meant to be a high-class establishment. Doesn't seem like that anymore.
Shall we say tomorrow morning? There are generally less weirdos about in the morning.
Yes, I'll be there in the morning.
Alright, thank you. I got a bit of information, but she's like wiping kind of cake and cream off of her notebook, and she's like,
Alpheus, who is on the other side of the door, casts Summon Nature's Ally and summons a dire rat into the room.
Just to jump all over the place.
I head over to Alpheus and close the door on Snork and the rat. Alpheus, you've earned your bacon.
Alpheus, Barlam, what's your alignment?
I'm chaotic good.
I'm just chaotic beige.
I know we're not really closely following alignment, but what's gonna come of this is gonna take a slight dent out of that. You're not enough to drop either of you, but this is gonna have some consequences.
He fucked with me, so I'll fuck with him. I think that's fair.
Yeah, okay. So Gabbi just screams as this dire rat just kind of comes in, and she jumps up onto the table, and the table's covered in cake. She manages to keep her footing. That's alright.
But there's also grease everywhere, so it's slippery.
By the door.
So it's a flying dire rat.
Snork, there is a dire rat running around in this room. What are you going to do about it?
I fly! No, I look at it and I sneeze.
Oh no, did you actually cast fire sneeze near grease? Well, that's on you, not me.
Yeah, we're getting out of there.
Oh my god, he also got max damage.
So I'm reading up on this, and you do know that fire sneeze is like a 10-foot cone of fire, like a flamethrower, right?
Okay, Snork, roll me a d20, please.
Oh shit. It wasn't an actual spell. I was allergic to something in the cakes, like pepper, for example.
Nope.
And I did his fire sneeze by accident.
You cast the spell Fire Sneeze.
I still did the fire sneeze. I just sneezed and cast it by accident.
Okay, here's what happens. A slightly greasy dire rat comes in because it was summoned outside and ran through the grease. You sneeze fire onto him, which ignites the grease on him and spreads to the grease by the doorway. The door is quickly consumed by fire. There is now screaming all over the tavern. People are fleeing. There's utter bedlam. You are trapped in a room with a fire which was once a rat and a door that is on fire. The fire is spreading.
The gnome takes a photo.
The gnome, of course he takes a freaking photo. You do know that you've burnt down like 3 taverns already in Elderspell. It looks like we're about to burn down your 4th.
So Alpheus has now ditched his cake-covered uniform outside and says to Barlam,
No one can ever know we were here.
Yeah, I broke my disguise. I'm normal Barlam now.
You two are running away. The gnome, of course, takes a picture, and Gabby's like, not now! Snork, what do we do? We're trapped. We're trapped in here. We're gonna die.
How will you survive this oven of cakes?
You already cast shield on yourself.
No, I'm just saying what it does, because I can't hover and it won't tell me. Oh wait, no, that's the thing number 1 next to it.
There's burning hands. That's not gonna help.
Yeah, I can.
Where's your Burmese mountain dog right now?
God knows.
Probably at the tavern where you guys are staying.
In a heroic feat, I used my acrobatics. They came in use finally. I pick Gabbi up. No, I don't. I try and grab Gabbi. I fail. I turn around and say to her, look, I do apologise. I'm only a small goblin. I can't pick you up, but we must move the table over the fire and walk through the doorway.
I like how your voice of bravado doesn't falter.
Do I have to roll a buff for that?
I'll let you decide how Snork reacts. As Snork is pretty confident around fire.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not sure how often you get trapped in a burning building.
We'll find out, won't we? I say to her, we must move the table in front of the fire and run over the table. Yes, we can sacrifice the table for the good of all.
Okay, but what about the door? The door's on fire. How are we going to get out of that?
Everything's on fire.
The door's not... Don't worry about the door. As long as you're not holding it for over 2 seconds, trust me, I'm a fire goblin. You'll be fine. You just need to run as fast as you can. Jump through it. This is why the table's in use, so we're not touching the bottom of the frame.
So, let me get this straight. Your plan is to push the table to the door, open the door, and then jump over the fire?
Is the door open?
Well, no, not right now.
Yeah, Barlam closed the door when he left.
No. Okay, my plan's completely changed now. I thought the door was open, do apologise. The idea was, I thought the doorway was greased up and it was still on fire, so the door wasn't there. I was going to push the table there between the doorway, jump on the table over the flame so we could run across the table like a runway, jump through the door frame thinking there was no door there, out of the rear of the fire.
Well, unfortunately,
it's closed.
The area right around the door is greasy. That would include part of the door and the door frame itself.
So could the door now be disintegrating then?
The door is on fire. It will take a while to disintegrate under the fire.
I use the table as a battering ram.
Okay.
With the help of the lady.
And the gnome.
And the gnome.
The gnome mutters something in gnomish, which roughly translates into, this is why gnomes hate goblins. Gnomes get a racial bonus to kill goblins. They do not like goblins.
Oh, nice.
Gabbi makes a strength check. The gnome makes a strength check. Snork, neither of them rolled well.
Well.
The gnome's probably running with a minus to his strength. Oh my... You all try to pick up this big table. You can't budge it. You kind of spend a bit of time trying to lift it and push it, and you're straining and groaning, and the fire's just spreading. It seems some of these cakes are a bit more flammable than you would have hoped, and now it's spreading across the room.
Can I intimidate the fire?
This is fine.
Tuomas is right. The "this is fine" meme is kind of relevant here.
What's in the handy haversack?
Everything besides the art stuff, I would assume, should be in there.
Cosmic mutation safe.
Though Barlam has those, I believe.
I was going to mutate myself and then walk through the fire.
Yes, you have become more flammable. Ah!
But no. Are the chairs like a booth chair, or are they like individual chairs?
I kind of imagine booth chairs, but it's got a door, I'm not sure. I guess it is booth chairs still.
I cast magic missile on the door bolts.
Okay.
It's guaranteed to hit.
Roll for damage. They have a hardness factor which subtracts the damage they take, but basically they have no armor class, so
the overall damage was 2.
you fire a magic missile at the door, or the door bolt, nothing happens.
See, Pete, I would help Snork, but you basically used a flamethrower in a 2 meter by 2 meter room.
At this time, you could realise the place is on fire, and you could then big yourself up.
Everyone has run out screaming. Alpheus, you were probably the closest one at the time because the fire was done quite shortly after.
And even though Alpheus was running, he wouldn't have gotten very far, just to a safe distance.
Is the dog still inside with me?
No.
No, okay, good.
So Alpheus, you see the fire now.
Why are they running out screaming when only this room's on fire? It's not like spread out.
Fire spreads really fast.
It will spread because there's grease all over the floor and wooden furniture.
Okay.
We're doing this in slow motion to give people time to think, but you will start taking damage very soon.
So Alpheus has been watching to make sure Snork gets out, and seeing that he hasn't, he says,
By the blood of Saint Fade, I'll have to go in and help him. Oh man, fire.
So Alpheus goes back towards the Archmage's Tipple as quickly as possible. But I don't really know if there's a lot I can do, as my spells haven't been set. They're the same as yesterday.
What abilities do you have that could help in this situation?
I do have Create Water, but that's not useful for this situation. It is a grease fire, after all.
Oh no, it's I that have Create Water because I wash all the pets. You have Light.
No, water makes a grease fire worse.
I could have praised the situation.
Other useless spells in this situation include Spark and Enhanced Diplomacy. I could be diplomatic to the burning wood, or persuade it not to burn on behalf of the lives of Elderspell.
I throw my waistcoat on no, that won't do anything because the door's fucking shut.
Where was the room located in the building? Would you say it was on the outer wall?
Yeah.
Okay, Alpheus is going to run around to the other side of the wall, to where the room is, to try and take down the wall using Flaming Sphere.
No, you're not. Please tell me you're kidding.
Do it. Do it.
Fight fire with fire, I say.
Well, that was going to be my answer.
Are you honestly trying to put out a fire with more fire?
I'm using it so the force can take out the outer wall, freeing Snork. There'll be force behind the spell. There won't just be fire.
It doesn't work that way.
Can I magic missile a hole in the wall? It's already windows.
Not in this room. I tell you what, I'm going to throw you a bone here. Alpheus, roll a wisdom check.
14.
Okay, Alpheus, as you start thinking about breaking down a wall, you realise that none of your spells or weapons really will do much to an actual wall. Then you start thinking, well, the only way out in that case is going to be through the door, but the door's on fire. How should I break down a door that's on fire without harming myself? And you remember, you can turn into animals. Turning into animals grants you basically extra hit points. And when you change out of animal form, you heal damage that you took from animal form.
Alpheus will wild shape into an animal of some kind.
How big of an animal can you change into?
He can turn into any small or medium creature, so the biggest thing at this point with ramming speed that he could probably turn into would be either some kind of
elephant,
goat or a ram or a boar.
Not a small bear.
He could probably turn into some kind of big pig boar creature and try and just batter the door down and get all the tiny people to jump on his back.
And imagine, all the time you do that as a boar, you'll smell like bacon.
What happens if he goes through the door as I'm using magic missile and accidentally shoot him?
Magic missile never misses, so you won't hit him, you'll hit the door.
But, oh, okay.
Even when the door moves, you'll hit the door. If you were casting something like Burning Hands, trying to fight fire with fire,
then you'd end up dead.
Can I try and destroy the door with my staff, even though it's not a real staff?
You can try.
Nope, didn't work.
The little glass ball you have at the top of your staff breaks. You've now got glass by the door.
You can only exert 1 pound of force or material.
This is amazing.
The floor by the door is now covered in fire, grease, and glass.
I'm surprised that smoke hasn't killed you yet.
Oh, I'm making dice rolls behind the scene, just so you know.
Can prestidigitation do anything here? Can it do something that will destroy the door?
Prestidigitation could do something here, but you need to think about how you're going to use it because its effects are so minor. You can make tiny gusts of wind. You could probably use it to keep the smoke away for a little bit. So you could probably use it to try and keep the smoke from killing you for now. It won't be a permanent solution, but it might buy you a little while of time.
I can mildly change the temperature of something.
And also, Alpheus, don't worry, if Snork dies, we didn't kill him. He has 900 gold that can be retrieved after a fire. We did not play with fire, we only threw cakes. He cast grease and then he cast fire. He did this to himself.
It doesn't make me feel any better, Barlam.
Can I make the wood damp? Give me more time.
You can only dampen its spirits. With prestidigitation, you can only affect 1 pound of material. So what would be like a 2-inch by 2-inch piece of wood?
Dampen myself? I could do that by wetting myself. Could I piss on the fire? No, that would make it worse.
Not unless you want exploding urine.
Exactly.
Oh.
And you lose something very vital to anatomy.
Yeah, your whole body.
I'm just checking this list of transformable animals, and there's a horse.
I think at your current thing, you could turn into a pony, not an actual full-grown horse, because a horse counts as a large creature.
A pony will do just fine.
Shetty!
A what? What did you say then? A shitty?
Come on, let's hurry this up. Alpheus, you transform yourself into a pony. What are you going to do?
So Alpheus, as a pony, races into the Archmage's Tipple and bounds for Snork's door. At least this way I have some ground clearance rather than being a boar or something. Well, that would be a good way to make a bacon butty.
Ponies are well known for their ability to ram open doors. Now, typically, you would have the pony stats, which is a strength of 13, which I believe is considerably lower than your own strength. However, I'm going to be generous here and say you're a particularly buff pony.
Do you think you can lift, bro?
So, My Little Pony. Isn't there a pony that's buff? I think that was a thing. Or is that just people's weird fan art? Listeners, why don't you tell us on a band of boys? Email us about whether there's a buff pony or not.
It's all in his buttocks.
Ed, I will let you keep your strength of 17 in pony form. Just make a strength check.
I rolled a 12.
That's fine. The door isn't locked or anything. You managed to kick it open and buckle the lock. So, you guys are there. Snork is currently using prestidigitation to try and keep the smoke from getting to them, but the fire is now consumed the floor. They're standing on the table. They don't have long. You're going to get burnt to shit. And for some reason there's glass on the floor, but you're going to get burnt to shit, but you could probably leap over to them and carry them out before the fire takes you down.
Alpheus sees the fire and says...
You can't talk in beast form, you don't have the feet for that.
He says nay.
Is still now a burning pony who can talk?
No.
Snork, you see a horse kick the door open and go, ah! You go, Near! You see a muscular pony just come in.
Someone needs to illustrate this scene of Alpheus as a buff pony in a doorway, burnt cake at his feet and fire dancing all around him.
Oh, the gnome's unconscious now, by the way.
I cast grease on the gnome, we leave the gnome there, everyone dies in a horrible fire.
No, you don't. Alpheus decides to jump in as far as possible.
Okay, roll me a acrobatics check. Gabby's like, oh my god, we're saved!
You're saved! With a 2.
Slide on the grease.
The horse slips in the grease. The horse is now on fire. And more so than he was before.
Bulk biceps is what he's called.
What, the My Little Pony pony?
Oh, there is one! Yes, I knew it!
I've just looked up this pony and why is this a thing? Alpheus gets the cutie mark of dumbbells atop his back leg.
Yes, you get the little ring in your ear as well.
Let's take a short moment now to watch an episode of My Little Pony involving this buff boy.
Why is it flexing? Juliet, you're not allowed to watch this anymore.
It was an interesting experience.
Okay, let's get on with this.
I tell Gabby to jump off the table, jump onto the horse and out the door.
The horse is on the floor and it's back.
Yeah, exactly.
She tries to pick up her gnome friend and can't, kind of freaking out because she doesn't want to leave him behind.
I use my acrobatics. I jump off the table, jump off the horse, through the door, leaving a bit of a studded mark in the chest of the horse because I've got heels on after all. And I'm out, leaving Gabby there.
Yes. As you get across the fire and get to the door, the fire damage finally knocks you unconscious. So you get to the door on fire and collapse. There are people who see you and can pull you out and kind of try and put the fire out, but you're unconscious. Fortunately, Gabbi, despite having an NPC class, is a modestly higher level NPC class, so she has a bit more hit points than you. But she isn't long for this game either.
Have we murdered 2 people? Oh, gnome.
Alpheus, Snork has just escaped, but Gabbi is trying desperately to get her gnome friend to safety. You get back up to your feet and you can come over. You've nearly taken enough damage to lose your horse form, so you've basically got this 1 round left.
Can he pick her up and like toss her with his mouth?
Eyebrow waggle? But yes, no, I should be able to.
You can do that with a gnome and chuck him to safety.
Excellent. I'll do that because I'm such a buff boy. She can ride me. I'll figure out what I'm wearing.
Tall elven woman riding you.
Make a strength check with your 17 strength still.
18.
Hey!
Got him by the scruff.
You pick up the gnome,
Drop him in the fire. No one saw it.
but you actually notice as you pick it up, the gnome isn't breathing. You try to escape. You manage to get halfway through the restaurant, through the fire, before you drop out of beast shape and you're now Doge again. The entire building is on fire now, but you do gain health back from dropping out of beast shape, so you and Gabbi are able to run, and she is covered in severe burns at this point. She has survived and the gnome is dead, but you have all gotten out of the burning building.
Okay, that's what matters most.
Is he well past dead, or can we try and save him?
He's dead. He's dead.
While I'm standing there outside watching as he knew that he had no ability to destroy a fire, how did this happen?
No one can answer you other than the woman.
I'm looking at Snork and ask, who could create such mayhem?
I'm unconscious.
By this point, as Alpheus is staggering out, carrying this dead gnome under one arm and trying to pull this elf to safety, numerous guards have shown up. And they're keeping everyone away from the building. They see you guys coming out and like, oh my god! And they help you get out and like, quickly, get away. They manage to cast some minor healing spell on you and Gabbi and get you away from the building, as a number of people are now trying to keep the fire from spreading to other nearby buildings. Unfortunately, they are all connected to one another, so the fire will probably spread beyond this tavern unless they're able to contain it.
Surely there's going to be a bunch of firefighters using magic, like in Final Fantasy VI.
You don't use water on a grease fire.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys are kept away as a bunch of guards and various mages are trying to contend with the fire. You see a couple of them summon fire elementals to try and guide the fire away from the other buildings and take control of the situation, but the fire has spread to at least 2 other houses.
How about you, Gabbi?
Gabbi is there and she's just kind of in shock.
Are you okay?
She is covered in severe burns. She's going to need quite a lot of medical treatment after this. Even healing magic's probably not going to fix up the scarring and stuff she's going to take from this. Ty, he didn't make it.
This is taking a very dark turn.
Why did this happen?
I cast Detect Magic on Snork while he is asleep to see if he has cast Fire Magic recently.
He has cast all of his magic recently. He's been spamming cantrips. You can sense his most powerful magic has been used as well, level 2 magic, as well as, of course, the grease and whatever else he had, level 1 wise, that he used.
Despite the fact that we're his friend, when guys and people start asking why and how, I say truthfully that this fire mage used fire magic inside the building.
I can't believe what happened. It's all happened so fast.
I talked to her and tried to calm her down, empathetically.
We were just here for an interview.
Did Snork actually ask you for an interview?
It's barely formed sentences at this point. She's just so shaken up. She's like, you didn't want to do the interview, and he did. He did, and we agreed to meet up, and he would tell me what I needed for the paper. But I can't believe he's dead.
I'll look for a guard and ask him to take her to a temple to get her checked out.
And Alpheus shouts out,
Just remember that Smaz Nocturus saved you. We might get something from it.
They do kind of figure out from what Gabbi said, and Alpheus, what do you tell the guards when they start asking?
I basically say that the fire was seen whilst we were looking for Snork, and Alpheus decided to go in and save whoever was in there.
Well, no, do you mention the rat?
No, I don't mention anything about the waiter or being Harold either.
Eventually, Snork is brought to. They cast a Cure Light Wounds on him and you regain consciousness. You also got a lot of burn scars from this. It's nothing new to you because you've had a lot of run-ins with fire. But the guards ask you for what happened here.
I'm not going to lie, I feel really bad for what's just happened.
Are you going to tell them about the rat and the grease and the cakes?
Yeah, and in shock I fire sneezed. That's my defense and I'm sticking to it.
They're trying to just kind of figure out everything, and the fire is slowly being put under control now that some proper experienced mages have come to deal with it. But one of the guards does mention to the guard who's talking to you, is like, that goblin is Snork. He's wanted for a string of fires over the last few months. And there's just like, whilst you're still sitting there, Snork, just kind of taking it all in, you know the gnome is dead. You know that Gabbi is probably going to be permanently scarred by this unless expensive healing magic's used.
See, this is my whole idea, to make her look ugly and I come and rescue her.
The fire has burnt down in a business, several people's livelihoods, and a couple people's houses.
Do you know what? We blame the lad who gave up his name tag. It was all him.
The guards come and place manacles on you and go, Snork, you are under arrest for this and string of other fires across Elderspell. You'll have to come with us, please.
Well, Snork, you murdered a gnome.
Yes, the gnome, Ty.
Frida shows up pretty much around this time because the commotion, and you're there with Amy, you've got like this lovely scarf on and everything. You've had a wonderful time shopping.
Is anyone going to tell me what happened?
I look at Frida and I look at Amy and say, Snork wanted an interview with Gabbi and her assistant, the gnome, about our exploits at the tower. They ate in his establishment, and after a while, Snork saw something, which he used to spell grease to grease the area, and then threw flames on the area from inside the building. In the chaos, the gnome died, and Gabbi and Snork were saved by the scruff of their lives.
So he set this on fire. It shows that he's reckless and dangerous.
But I don't think it's in Snork's nature to intentionally kill an innocent person.
But he deliberately cast spells which destroyed this and killed a gnome. You cannot cast spells accidentally. That's the whole truth.
He's committed a crime. A heinous crime.
Now that Snork's arrested, should we leave him arrested? I feel obligated to see this out, given his actions at Elros's tower.
Well, we might go to the hearing of the trial, but that's about it.
It's in the law's hands.
Maybe that's what the trial will be about, whether he committed murder or manslaughter.
That's gnome slaughter.
Amy speaks up, she's like, well, the guards have access to good interrogation-based magics, Zone of Truth, for example. They can figure out what happened, whether this was malicious, accidental. I mean, from the sound of it, this isn't the first time that this has happened.
As a serial arsonist, he committed arson.
I think attending the hearing will determine the outcome.
I would gladly take part in a trial if they wish to question me, because I'm not afraid of anything as I've done nothing wrong.
Well, let's hope that justice is served one way or another. I mean, if Snork is released by whatever chance, would you intend to continue to travel with him?
Well, no.
Considering he's a team member, we should at least help pay for funeral costs and ask the family members.
We don't need to do that. What will we even tell the family members?
No need to know how the sausage is made.
This is going to put a dampener on the festival of St. Bertie and Gertie. That's coming up in a few days. It's a big gnome holiday. I don't think the gnomes of Elderspell are going to be too keen to celebrate after this.
Well, shit.
Well, don't let one death hold you back. No, I was trying to be optimistic.
So, on that dour note, I hope everyone enjoyed playing and listening. And from me and the rest of the Band of Bothers cast, goodbye.
Bye.
See ya. Greetings, my wonderful band of botherers. It's me, Edgar, here with some post-podcast credits. Except, firstly, I would like to apologise for the length of time it's taken for this episode to get out. I think I at least owe you an explanation for that. So even though we do these sessions live, online, we do also save separate files of our individual recordings, which then get sent to myself to edit for Season 1. But through some unfortunate circumstances, the hard drive in which all of these files were stored on burnt out, and the backups of those files were also lost in the process. Now, Steve and Joe still had their files, and Pete had also sent his file to Steve first, which actually ends up being the thing that saves this episode, since Steve still had a copy of Pete's file, which he was then able to send to myself.
But you see, I have to do a lot of editing on Pete's files every episode to remove the feedback that he has through his audio recordings, which you can hear basically Tuomas and Joe and myself, which normally would be a problem, except this time round it meant that because mine and Tuomas's files were lost entirely, we were able to decipher what was said in the feedback for Tuomas and my own lines. So I was able to re-record my lines and create a transcript for Tuomas's lines to have him then re-record that. So all of Tuomas and my lines in this episode, as a result, have been re-recorded, but authentically as possible to the original recordings. Now this also affects the next episode, episode 16, but we were actually able to recover all of the recordings apart from some stuff at the very end, but we were actually able to recover all of the files for episode 16 through some data recovery specialists and such. So that one shouldn't be too bad, but for this one, episode 15 overall, it took a lot of work. But given it was our most ludicrous and ridiculous episode yet, but also very important for the events that happen in episode 16, I felt it was imperative to get this sorted for you, so you can actually listen to it as it should properly be, and not through some recap as told by Steve in 5 minutes or something. So thank you for staying with us for that painstaking process. I don't think anything like that will ever happen again. And now I will get on with the actual credits. Bing Bang Bong is by Dave James and Keith Beauvais, and Jazz Funk is by Stefsax Awel. Then in chronological order we have Frozen Waltz by Kevin MacLeod, Medieval Anthem from Fantasy Dream by Peter Crowley, Private Reflection by Kevin MacLeod, Mist on the Moor by Kevin MacLeod, Beach Beat by Richard Kimmings, Lincoln Grounds and Douglas Brown, Frothy Coffee, Barnum's theme, by Robert Northcott, Bushwick Tarantella by Kevin MacLeod, then Kingdom Gates from Momentous by Natentine, Running Away by Kevin MacLeod, the My Little Pony theme instrumental, originally composed by Daniel Ingram and edited by Spinning Ponies, Jazz in Paris by Meteorite Productions, Run by Ross Bogdan, and finally Frozen Dawn by Sergei Gedanian. The SFX are by the Guild of Ambience, the MS sound effects, and quite a few by myself in this one. Most tracks are free to use or have had a payment for usage, although some fall under Creative Commons CC BY-NC ND license. And after that kerfuffle, I get to now prepare episode 16. Yay! It's time for Steve.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening to the Band of Brothers podcast. If you enjoyed the show and want to be really awesome, please leave a review to let others know how much you enjoyed it. We're still a really small podcast, so this will help us get noticed by more people and help us grow. You can also spread the love by tweeting about us using the Band of Brothers hashtag, and let all your followers know about how awesome or stupid you think we are. Fun fact, I am really bad at coming up with names for the NPC characters, so if anyone leaves a review or tweets about us using that hashtag, I'll be sure to name an NPC after you, so that way you too can be a part of this game. If you'd like to message us directly about either Band of Brothers or Charisma Check, please email us at bandofbotherspodcast@gmail.com. That's bandofbotherspodcast@gmail.com, all one word. You can also find us in most forms of social media under the name Band of Brothers or Band of Brothers Podcast. Links will be in the description for the episode. So from me and the rest of the Band of Brothers cast, thank you for listening and goodbye.